we'll talk about depreciation. We'll cover depreciation in 3 lessons. First lesson, we'll talk about definition and why we are accounting for depreciation and the methods to calculate depreciation. Basically, depreciation is to estimate the loss in the value of the non-current asset over its useful life. As we have studied before, we have non-current assets and current assets. And just to remind you, non-current assets are those who have useful life more than 1 year. So it can be charged as an expense when they are purchased, but their cost is charged over the time of their useful life. So let's look to the definition here. Is an estimate of the loss in the non-current assets over its useful life. And there are several reasons why we have to record depreciation, because the asset is losing its value. First one is repeated use. Second one is what's called depletion. Depletion is for natural resources like wells, oil wells, like mines, like quarries. We take from them, so they are losing its values, and the remainder in them is getting less and less over the time until they finish. Third reason is technological change. Any technological change might make the assets not useful for the organization, or sometimes it's obsolete, and it's very obvious for computers. If the business is expanding or it's changing its activities. And expansion of business. And last thing is legal requirements. And sometimes when you do license for the trucks and the vehicles, the police, the traffic police is having certain requirements that might not be applicable for the assets, especially after a long time. So these are reasons why depreciation is accounted for. There are several methods for depreciation. We'll study the first 2 out of 3. We have to study 3 methods, but we'll study only 2 now, and the third one will be studied when we talk about recording depreciation, because it has to do with recording depreciation more than calculation. First one is straight line method. Straight line method is very simple and very easy to calculate. It's the cost of the asset minus residual value, the value of the assets at the end of its useful life, divided by the useful life of the assets in years. So we have a very simple example that will make things clearer to you. We assume that we have an asset that cost us $22,000, and over 4 years of its useful life, we divide the cost of it, the net cost of it, over the 4 years. So we have the 22,000, and we have the remaining residual value is $8,000. So the net cost is $14,000 divided by 4 years, it gives you $3,500. So in every year we incur an expense of $3,500 of depreciation for this particular asset. One of the names of this method is equal installments. So it's either straight line method or equal installments. Second method is diminishing, reducing balance method. We put an estimate of the percent of which the asset is losing its value over the useful life, and apply it for every year on the balance. So we start with the $22,000 with 20% loss, that's $4,400. So the first year expense is $4,400. Second year we'll have the net of the 22,000 minus the 4,400 times 20%, that's less. So the installments are becoming less over the years because the pool is less. So it's 3,520. Third year we have the net of the first 2 years, 17,600 minus 3,520 times 20, that's 2,800, and so on in the year 4. So every year you have less installments. Net book value would be, at the end of year 4, would be the cost, that's 22,000, minus the sum of the 4 years. If you look to it, you will find out that the end result, the net value, would be 9,012, which means that this one has less in depreciation cost by $1,012 compared to the straight line method, because the straight line method, if you remember, we ended up with $8,000 on, which means that the cost of 14,000 is here, it's less, a little bit less than $13,000. However, some business are using this one, some business are using the straight line method, but each one have advantages and disadvantages. The advantages of the straight line method, it's very easy, and it is dividing the cost equally among the useful years of the asset life. The diminishing method is telling, some people are saying it's true that the depreciation cost in the earlier years of the useful life of the asset is higher than the later years of the useful life. However, this is okay and the other one is okay. These are the two methods that we are using, and we are gonna show you in the next session how to record the expenses resulting from these two methods. And we'll study the third method, because the third method recording is different from these two. The third method this third method is called revaluation. So we do evaluation every time we revalue the asset, and we record them differently than the other two methods. Thank you very much, and see you soon.